author, JD Vance.
Well, thank you. What a great crowd here at CPAC. God bless you guys. It's great to be with you. For those of you who don't know who I am, I wanted to tell you just a little bit about myself. I grew up in Middletown, Ohio, in a steel town that was devastated by the policies of the Democrats. You know, when my grandparents moved to Middletown, it was the land of opportunity. But what happened? The Democrats, and frankly a lot of rhinos, decided that we didn't need to make anything in this country anymore. So a lot of those good jobs that communities like mine depended on, they got shipped to Mexico, they got shipped to China, and instead of becoming a self-sufficient and independent country, we became a weaker and more dependent country, and dependent on regimes that hate us. That's one of the reasons that the working class has turned against the Democrats. You know, one of the biggest ways that the Democrats have failed the working class, have failed the citizens of this country, is that they don't even care about their citizens compared to the illegal aliens flowing across the U.S. southern border. We have a border crisis that is crushing the working class in this country, and it is the Democrats' fault. Now, whenever I talk about the border in my campaign, whenever I talk about what it's doing to communities like mine, I am always told that the only reason I care about the border is because I'm a racist, because I'm a xenophobe. They say that I hate the illegal aliens coming across the southern border, and I don't hate them. What I do is I love the citizens of my own country, and I want a government that actually puts their interests first, and their interests first as American citizens. Now, the Democrats always say their border policies are compassionate. We know that's a joke. There's nothing compassionate about letting drug cartels and sex traffickers control our country as if it was a third world backwater country. But I want to tell you a story about exactly what the Democrats' border policies do to communities and to people like mine, the people that we fight for as conservatives. I got a phone call about 10 years ago, actually, from my sister. And she told me that my beloved mom, had just had a heroin overdose and was in a coma in a hospital just outside of Cincinnati. And I remember thinking to myself that whether she woke up from that coma, whether she made it, she'd never meet the grandchildren that my wife and I would eventually have. I was certain that Mom wouldn't make it a few more years to when I started my own family, and that broke my heart. Now, I'm proud to say that about 4 weeks ago, I drove up to my hometown in Middletown, Ohio, just a little far north of Cincinnati, and we celebrated my mom's 7-year medallion ceremony where she's been clean and sober for 7 years. Thank you. And you know, it's one of the things that I love about our country, ladies and gentlemen. I love that we're a country of second chances. The American dream is not just for everybody who's done everything right. It's for those who have fallen off the horse and gotten back on. And I'm so proud of my mom. I'm so proud of her for that reason. But I'm also proud of her because the grandchildren I never expected her to meet, my 3 kids, 4 years old, 2 years old, and we just had a baby girl 8 weeks ago. She's now the best grandmother to those grandbabies. She spoils them a little bit, but she's the best grandmother to those grandbabies that they ever could have wished for. And I'm reminded every time I see my mom play with those grandbabies, every time she spoils them rotten, I'm reminded of what's coming across our border today and what's killing our citizens today. Because I promise you, ladies and gentlemen, the Mexican fentanyl that's coming across the U.S. southern border is the deadliest and most dangerous stuff that has ever been on our streets. And if 10 years ago, the stuff that my mom took that put her in a coma was the Mexican fentanyl coming across in 2022, we would have never had those second chances. We would have never had that opportunity to have another 7 years with my mom clean and sober. When we say we care about the southern border, ladies and gentlemen, when they say that it's because we're racist or xenophobic, tell them this. Tell them, shut the hell up. It's not about hating anybody. It's about loving our own citizens and making sure they have a good chance in this life. Now, I've gotten a lot of flack in the last week because I had the audacity to suggest that before our leaders obsess over a Ukrainian and Russian border 6,000 miles away, maybe they better guarantee the sovereignty of their own country and their own border first. Makes sense, right? And the reason I say that is because we have a leadership in this country that is constantly focused on stuff that has nothing to do with citizens in our country, has nothing to do with serving the middle-class citizens of my state of Ohio or all across this country. And ladies and gentlemen, it's just time to stop. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of being told that we have to care more about people 6,000 miles away than we do people like my mom and my grandparents and all the kids who are affected by this crisis. And the problem, let's just be honest here, there are things that we could do to fix our southern border. There are things that we could do to solve all the problems that affect the working class in this country, but it requires a very simple thing. It requires we fight back against the radical policies of the Democrats and the rhinos who fail to do anything to stop them. That's what we got to do, ladies and gentlemen. So let me just offer a few ideas. Let me just offer 3 things we need to do to make this border more secure. The very first thing is that we should declare the Mexican cartels a terrorist organization. Don't send the military to Ukraine, send them to Mexico, and let's fight back against this poison. The second thing we need to do is stop giving welfare to people who are not U.S. citizens. Require proof of citizenship before you get a welfare check in this country. And the third thing, ladies and gentlemen, is we have got to cut off every dollar of federal aid that goes to a city like New York that gives illegal aliens the right to vote in this country. It's our democracy, not theirs. It's time to stop it. This border crisis is the answer to the question that I was asked to answer here. Why does the working class hate the Democrats? Ladies and gentlemen, it's simple. The working class hates the Democrats because the Democrats care more about illegal aliens than their own citizens. The working class hates the Democrats because they have failed to solve the problems that they created. The working class hates the Democrats for the very simple reason that the Democrats hate us, and it's time to stop. Thank you all. God bless you.